Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome back to another on-the-road video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for the proper voltage. What we have today is a Frigidaire upright freezer. The complaint is that it's not cooling and sometimes loud inside of it. So to start this repair, we're going to access the internal portion of the refrigerator, and you can start by removing all the shelves. Okay, so we have accessed the front of the refrigerator. First thing we need to do, as mentioned previously, is take out the shelving to the unit. Each one of these has two stops, one on each side, that prevents it from sliding in. You'll need to pop these out. You'll see on the actual stop itself, there's a hole that goes through. That's where the wire portion is at, as well as a slit on one side. This is what allows you to pull it out. It can be turned, whatever, just push your finger around it until you find out where that opening is and push up in order to release them.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, take out the other stop. You'll push the shelf to the right and then up on the left-hand side to remove it. Follow the same steps for the bottom shelf. And last but not least, pull out your wire bin by pulling it forward and tipping up to get it past the side stops. Your shelves are removed. To get to the evaporator, you'll have to remove 9 screws. You have 4 on the top, 2 in the middle, and 3 across the bottom. These are all Phillips head screws. The tools needed for this repair will be a 5/16 nut driver or drill bit and a Phillips head screwdriver. That one's stripped. Your screws are removed. Pull out on the evaporator cover. Now we can get to all of the evaporator components. Now that we have access to the evaporator, we will notice that the fan is not running. It is getting power to the fan, but for some reason it's not turning. This is kind of a common problem that I've ran into with evaporator fans just because they run all the time. The purpose with this is that the coils here will get covered in frost. This fan will turn on, circulating air up through a back vent that then comes out the top of it. So if this fan is not running, it is not going to be cooling properly. So today we're going to replace the fan. What you'll need to do is start by removing this white wire that's held into the clip here. Be very careful that you don't hurt the wire. This goes straight to the termination for the defrost cycle. Next, you'll want to remove the wires from this clip on the right side. These are your fan wires and a ground wire. Now that we have those removed, disconnect the Molex connector that's holding it in, and you'll have 2 5/16 screws. They're mounting the fan onto the back wall. Be careful while taking the next one off so that your fan doesn't drop as soon as you loosen the screw. Also, after you get these off, watch for these because this is basically the anchor for the bolts. So if for some reason one of these is snapped and fallen and you try to screw it back in, it's going to be loose and it won't stay there. So make sure that these are intact fine for whenever you go to remount it. We have the fan off. We'll go ahead and we'll get our new fan and begin the repair. And we have our new evaporator fan. Now sometimes you will get just the fan. Sometimes you can get it with the bracket. I chose to go down the route of getting it with the bracket. If you did not have the bracket with it, it is only held on by two 5/16 bolts. Pop that off and you'll take the fan off of here just by sliding it up. Replace the motor and put the fan back on. In this particular circumstance, all we need to do is mount it back. I would always recommend finger tightening the screws to start so that you are in the right spots with the anchors that are in the back. We have those on here. We can go ahead and tighten it up. Reconnect our wiring harness and feed your wires into the clips so that they don't hit and get cut on the evaporator. We have the wiring attached. Now we can reinstall the evaporator cover. Now reposition your back panel in front of the evaporator. I would start by putting a couple of screws in the top to hold it there. Like I said previously, I am a fan of tightening the screws by hand first. It gives a little wiggle room if you need to adjust something. Now, you'll notice that whenever you pulled them out previously, you have two sides of the screws. Make sure that the two longer screws go into the middle. They have a special casing that is long enough for them. You do not want to put them in the back panel or the bottom and risk puncturing something. Now, go ahead and use your drill or your screwdriver, tighten them all up. I don't recommend over tightening, especially on these ones, since the holster that they're going into is plastic. If you over tighten them, you risk cracking that, and it can be kind of loose on the back panel. We have all the screws tightened. Next, we want to reinstall our cover seals. You'll notice that they have kind of a groove that goes through it. This helps it from slipping out. Basically, you want the flat side to be against the wall, the angled side to be against the cover. So start at the top, push it in, and bend it down. Keep pushing as you go. Doesn't have to be perfect, and just to kind of create a suction from the bottom and down here instead of pulling from inside the refrigerator or freezer, and it also allows for less leaking and cold air to seep out, tricking it. You have these installed. Let's put your shelves back in. To reinstall your shelves, first put in the wire basket. Make sure you tip it down to get it past these stops. Slide it in. Next, you have two wire shelves. As you can see here, one is fatter than the other. The reason behind this is because of this gap. So you know that the smaller shelf goes in first. Oops. So you have to put in the right side is one that slides in. Then you push it over and you install the stops so that the shelf cannot be taken back out without removing them. And last but not least, you have your larger shelf. This can only fit in one way, so you're not going to mess it up. If you try to put it in the other way, it just won't go. So install your stops, and this will complete your repair. Thank you for watching another quality video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.